God has a plan for you. You are not here by accident. Let me tell you something, you are not here by coincidence. Your very existence is evidence that the universe, that God has designed you for a purpose. Every breath you take is proof that you are needed, wanted, chosen. Your struggles are building blocks. Listen, I know life can feel heavy. There are moments when you feel like you're breaking. But let me tell you, every trial, every tribulation is preparing you for something greater. Your challenges are not a setback, they are a setup for your destiny. Divine timing is everything. It's not about when you want it, it's about when you're ready for it. God's timing is never early, never late. It is always right on time. Trust the delay. Trust the process. And your past does not define you. I don't care what you've been through, who hurt you, or what you did yesterday. Hear me now. God is not consulting your past to determine your future. You are not your mistakes. You are a masterpiece in progress. You have gifts that the world needs. Each of us has a light. Each of us carries a gift that only we can give. Stop dimming your shine to fit in when God created you to stand out. Someone somewhere is waiting for what only you can offer. Follow the whisper. God's plan doesn't always arrive in a loud voice. It's often a whisper. That nudge, that idea that won't let you go, that's God speaking to you. Pay attention. Follow the whisper. Rejection is redirection. Oh, how many times have you prayed for something and it didn't happen? You cried, you questioned. But can I tell you, every no was God steering you toward a better yes. Trust the redirection. Faith over fear. Fear will have you believing that God has forgotten you, but faith will remind you that his plans for you are good, to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. Choose faith even when fear is screaming in your ear. Surround yourself with the right people. Let me tell you this, you cannot step into your purpose while surrounded by people who doubt it. God will send the right tribe, people who lift you, encourage you, and walk with you. Let go of anyone who isn't aligned with your calling. Keep showing up even when you can't see the full plan. Even when the path feels unclear, keep showing up. Keep praying, keep believing, keep moving. God honors persistence, and every step you take brings you closer to the life he has designed for you. And remember, friends, God's plan for you isn't small, it isn't mediocre. It is expansive, abundant, and full of everything you need to live the life you were born to live. You are not here by accident. Let that sink in. Do you know how many things had to align perfectly for you to be here in this moment, living this life? The odds of your existence are miraculous, and yet here you are. You're breathing, your heart is beating, and every cell in your body is a living testament to the fact that you were meant to be. There is no randomness in this. There is divine intention in every fiber of your being. Think about the journey it took to bring you here. The choices of your ancestors, the paths they walked, the obstacles they overcame, all of it led to you. The universe has been moving, shaping, and orchestrating events for generations to ensure that you would arrive right here, right now. That's not coincidence. That's purpose. That's destiny. Sometimes life tries to convince us otherwise. It tries to tell us that we're insignificant, just another face in the crowd. But let me tell you something, when you feel small, remember that you are the work of a masterful creator. You were not randomly placed here, you were sent here. Sent with a reason, a mission, a spark that no one else can bring. Have you ever looked up at the stars, each one burning brightly in its place, part of a larger design, and yet not a single one of them is out of place? That's you. You are not out of place. You are a star in the divine galaxy, shining exactly where you are supposed to be. You are seen. You are valued. You belong. And let me tell you something else. You weren't just chosen, you were chosen intentionally, handpicked. It's not just that you matter. It's that you matter in a way no one else ever could. Your voice, your presence, your gifts, there's no duplicate, no stand-in for who you are. When God imagined the world, he imagined it with you in it. You see, your existence isn't just about you. It's about the people you're meant to touch, the lives you're meant to change, the love you're meant to share. There are people in this world who will only find their light because you showed them yours. That is why you are here. That is why you're needed. And even when you question your place, even when you wonder if you're enough, I want you to remember this: the Creator doesn't make mistakes. Every quirk, every trait, every piece of you was crafted with intention. You are not just good enough, you are exactly enough for the purpose that was placed on your life. So many of us spend time trying to prove we're worthy, but here's the truth: you were worthy the moment you took your first breath. Nothing you do or don't do can ever take that worth away. It was written into you from the very beginning. All you have to do is embrace it, step into it, live in it. When life feels overwhelming, when you feel unseen or unheard, remind yourself that you are neither forgotten nor overlooked. The Creator doesn't forget. He doesn't overlook. You are held in his hands, chosen with love, and placed on this earth with great care. You have always been wanted. Your existence is a miracle. Every breath you take, every moment you live is a reminder of that truth. You are not just one in a million, you are one of a kind, unique, chosen, necessary. And the world is a better place because you're in it. Life has a way of testing us, doesn't it? It throws storms, heartbreaks, and detours our way, and in those moments it can feel like the weight is too much to bear. But let me tell you something, your struggles are not there to break you, they are there to build you. Every challenge you face is shaping you, molding you into the person you're destined to become. That weight you feel, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Think of the hardest moments in your life, the ones that brought you to your knees. Those weren't endings, they were beginnings in disguise. Those struggles were chiseling away at everything you didn't need, making room for the strength, the wisdom, the resilience that only comes through fire. You are not breaking, you are transforming. There's a reason diamonds are formed under pressure, why steel is forged in fire. The beauty, the strength, the brilliance comes only after the testing. Your life works the same way. You may feel like the fire is too hot, but trust me, you are not being consumed. You are being refined. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every heartbreak is adding to the masterpiece that is your life. It's easy to look at struggles and see only loss, but what if you saw them as seeds? Seeds planted deep in the soil of your soul. They might feel buried, forgotten, but beneath the surface, they're growing. They're preparing to bloom into something you can't even imagine right now. The pain you feel today is nurturing the strength you'll need tomorrow. Sometimes the things that hurt the most are the very things that help us grow the most. We don't gain strength from ease, we gain it from endurance. We don't gain wisdom from certainty, we gain it from doubt. Every time you think you can't go on, every time you feel like giving up, remind yourself this is not the end. This is the middle of your story, and the best chapters are still ahead. You might look at your struggles and ask, why me? But have you ever thought, why not me? Why not me to rise above this? Why not me to overcome? Why not me to take this pain and turn it into power? You are stronger than you know, braver than you feel, and more capable than you believe. This moment will prove that to you. And let's not forget, your struggles are not just about you. They're about the people who are watching, the lives you will touch. When you rise, when you overcome, you give others permission to do the same. Your story of perseverance will be the light that guides someone else out of their darkness. No setback is wasted. No pain is meaningless. Every single struggle you faced is a brick in the foundation of your destiny. And guess what? You're still standing. That alone is proof that you're not just surviving, you're building. You're becoming. So the next time life feels heavy, remember this, your struggles are not walls, they are doors. They are not here to stop you, they are here to lead you somewhere greater. Trust the process, trust the pain. Because one day, you'll look back on these moments and see that they weren't the breaking of you, they were the making of you. Timing is everything, but not just any timing, divine timing. There's a rhythm to this life, a cadence orchestrated by forces greater than us. And while we often want things to happen now, right now, there's a higher plan at work. It's not about when you think you're ready, it's about when you truly are. And let me tell you something, God is never in a rush. He's never too early and he's never too late. He's always right on time. I know how hard it is to wait, to pray and to hope and still feel like nothing is happening. But what if the delay is part of the design? What if the waiting isn't about denial but preparation? You see, God isn't just concerned about getting you to your destination. He's making sure you're equipped for it when you arrive. Every moment you wait is a moment you're being prepared for the blessings you've been praying for. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want things to happen now, fast, on our schedule. But divine timing doesn't work like that. God isn't interested in quick fixes or shortcuts. He's interested in lasting transformation. And He's interested in giving you what's good for you, not just what's good to you. And sometimes that means waiting until you're strong enough, wise enough, or grounded enough to handle what's coming. Think about the times in your life when you wanted something so badly, only to realize later that you weren't ready for it. Maybe it was a relationship, a job, an opportunity. Looking back, you can see that the timing wasn't right. That's not a coincidence, that's divine protection. God doesn't withhold to punish. He withholds to prepare. Trusting divine timing means letting go of control. And oh, that's hard, isn't it? We want a plan to map out every step, to know what's coming next. But life doesn't work that way. The truth is, we can only see a piece of the puzzle, while God sees the whole picture. The delay you're experiencing now might just be the key to unlocking a future beyond your wildest dreams. Have you ever noticed how some of the best things in life come out of nowhere? When you least expect it, when you're not even looking, that's divine timing at work. It's like the universe is saying, now you're ready. Now you can receive this fully. And it's not just about the blessing, it's about who you've become in the process of waiting. The waiting can be uncomfortable. It can feel like you're stuck, like nothing is happening. But let me tell you, waiting is active. It's not empty time, it's sacred time. It's the time when roots grow deep, when character is built, when strength is fortified. The seed you planted in faith is growing even if you can't see it yet. Trust the soil, trust the process. And here's the beautiful thing about divine timing: when it happens, it feels right. It feels effortless. What's meant for you doesn't have to be forced or chased. It will flow to you naturally like rivers find the ocean. You won't have to beg or bargain for it. When it's your time, it will simply be yours. So trust the delay. Trust the process. Know that what's coming is better than what you're leaving behind. Every moment of waiting, every second of wondering is leading you to something greater than you can imagine. Divine timing is not about the clock. It's about the preparation of your heart, your soul, your spirit. And when the time is right, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop it. Your past does not define you. Let me say that again. Your past does not define you. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made, how far you've fallen, or how long you fought and you felt stuck in those old stories. The truth is, God doesn't hold your past against you. He uses it to push you forward. Your past is a part of your story, but it is not the whole story. It's a chapter, not the title. Too often we carry the weight of regret, shame, and guilt like it's a badge we have to wear forever. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to live there anymore. Whatever happened, whoever hurt you, whatever you did or didn't do, that is behind you now. You are not bound by those chains. You are free to step out of the shadows of your past and into the light of your future. The beautiful thing about grace is that it doesn't care where you've been. Grace only cares about where you're going. It's not about how perfect you've been. It's about how willing you are to grow. God doesn't see you as the sum of your mistakes. He sees you as the sum of your potential. You are not a failure. You are a masterpiece in progress. Let me tell you something. There is nothing you've done that can disqualify you from your destiny. God doesn't look at your record and say, well, I can't use them now. No, he says, I can take all of that, the pain, the mess, the mistakes, and I can work it into something beautiful. That's how powerful he is. He can take what was meant to break you and use it to build you. The enemy wants you to believe that your past is a prison, that you're stuck there, trapped by the things you can't undo. But that's a lie. Your past isn't a prison, it's a teacher. It has lessons, wisdom, and strength to offer you, but it does not have the power to control you unless you give it that power. You have the choice to leave it behind and step forward into something new. You see, God specializes in using the unlikely, the flawed, and the broken to do extraordinary things. Look at the stories throughout history. Some of the greatest leaders, visionaries, and change makers came from humble, messy, even painful beginnings. Their past didn't stop them, they propelled them. Your past doesn't disqualify you, it equips you. Stop letting the mistakes of yesterday rob you of the joy and promise of today. Stop replaying the old tapes of what went wrong. The only power your past has over you is the power you give it. When you let go of those old stories, you make room for the new ones, the ones that show who you really are, who you're becoming, and what you're capable of. Every scar, every tear, every misstep, it's all part of your journey. But it's not your identity. Your identity is not your pain. It's not your pain. It's not your mistakes. Your identity is that you are loved, chosen, and purposed. You are not the same person you were then, and you don't have to live like you are. And here's the thing about progress: it's messy. It's not a straight line, and it doesn't happen overnight. But every day that you choose to rise above your past, every time you choose to believe in your worth instead of your mistakes, you're moving closer to the person you're meant to be. That's what matters. That's what defines you. So when the world tries to remind you of who you were, you tell them this: I am not my mistakes. I am not my past. I am a work in progress, and God is still writing my story. You have gifts that the world needs. Do you hear me? Gifts that are uniquely yours, not borrowed, not copied yours. There is something within you, a light, a spark, a purpose that no one else in this entire world can bring. No one else has your voice, your story, your perspective, and someone somewhere is waiting for you to share it. But here's the thing: too often we dim our light because we're afraid it's too much. We hold back because we think we won't measure up, or because we're scared of standing out. But let me tell you something: God didn't create you to blend in. He created you to shine. Your gifts aren't meant to be hidden, they're meant to illuminate. The gifts you've been given aren't just for you, they're for the people who need them. Your creativity, your compassion, your wisdom, your humor, whatever your gift is, it's not an accident. It was planted in you for a reason. And if you don't share it, the world misses out. Someone's healing, someone's breakthrough, someone's inspiration might be tied to you stepping fully into your purpose. And don't let comparison rob you of your joy. You might look at someone else's gifts and think, I don't have that, or what I have isn't enough. But listen to me, God didn't give you their gifts, He gave you yours. What you carry is perfectly designed for the people you're meant to reach. Stop comparing your path to someone else's. They're not supposed to look the same. Sometimes we doubt our gifts because they feel ordinary to us. But what feels ordinary to you might feel extraordinary to someone else. That idea you've been sitting on, that talent you've been downplaying, that passion you've been ignoring, it could change someone's life. Don't underestimate the power of what you've been given. The world doesn't need another copy, it needs the real you. The one who dares to show up authentically, who embraces their quirks and flaws and gifts without apology. You were not created to play small. Playing small doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve the people who are waiting for you to step up. And let me tell you something else, your gifts don't have to look big to be impactful. Sometimes it's the simplest things, the way you listen, the way you care, the way you bring joy, that leave the biggest mark. You don't have to be famous or flashy to make a difference. You just have to be willing to share what you have. If fear is holding you back, remember this, your gifts aren't about you. They're about the lives you're meant to touch. When you focus on serving others, on sharing what you've been given, fear loses its power. Step out anyway, shine anyway, offer what you have anyway. The world is full of needs, full of darkness, full of spaces waiting to be filled. And your gifts, yes, yours are part of the answer. Imagine what could happen if you stopped holding back. Imagine the ripple effect of one light shining brightly, unapologetically. That's what happens when you step into your purpose. So don't wait, don't hide, don't shrink yourself to fit in when you were born to stand out. The world needs what you have, and there is no one who can bring it the way you can. Shine your light. Someone is waiting for you. Follow the whisper. Life is noisy, isn't it? There are so many voices demanding your attention, telling you who to be, what to do, how to live. But amidst the chaos, there's another voice. It's quieter, gentler, but unmistakably powerful. That voice isn't shouting for your attention, it's inviting you to listen. It's the whisper of God. And let me tell you, that whisper holds the key to your purpose. The whisper doesn't always come with a spotlight or a neon sign. It's not loud or flashy, it's subtle, like the wind brushing against your cheek or a seed quietly taking root in the soil. It's that idea you can't shake, that dream you can't ignore, that feeling deep in your soul that says, there's more for you. That's the whisper. And it's asking you to trust it. Here's the thing about the whisper, it doesn't come with all the answers. It doesn't hand you a detailed map or guarantee a straight path. It just gives you the next step, the next nudge, the next clue. And sometimes that's frustrating. We want clarity, don't we? We want to see the whole picture before we move, but God doesn't work like that. He's not asking you to understand, He's asking you to trust. The whisper is persistent. You can try to ignore it, distract yourself, or push it aside, but it won't go away. It's not there to annoy you, it's there to guide you. The longer you wait to follow it, the louder the ache in your soul becomes, because deep down, you know you're being called to something more. Following the whisper requires courage. It might ask you to step out of your comfort zone, to take a risk, to leave behind what's familiar. But here's the truth, growth never happens in the safe zone. The whisper isn't calling you to easy, it's calling you to extraordinary, it's calling you to the life you were created to live. And let me tell you this, the whisper isn't just for the big moments, it's in the small ones too. It's in the gentle tug to reach out to someone, the sudden inspiration to try something new, the quiet reminder to rest when you're weary. The whisper is always speaking, it's up to you to slow down long enough to hear it. Pay attention to what stirs your spirit, what excites you, what brings you peace, what keeps coming back to you no matter how much you try to dismiss it. That's not random, that's not coincidence, that's the whisper. It's God planting seeds of purpose in your heart, inviting you to step into alignment with His plan. Sometimes the whisper doesn't make sense. It might lead you down a path you didn't expect or ask you to do something that feels impossible. But remember, God's vision for your life is bigger than yours. He sees the ending while you're still at the beginning. Trust the whisper, even when it feels uncertain, even when it feels scary. It's leading you exactly where you're meant to be. The world will try to drown out the whisper with doubt, distractions, and fear, but don't let it. Create space to listen. In the stillness, in the quiet, the whisper becomes clear. It's not demanding or forceful, it's patient, steady, unwavering. And when you follow it, you'll find yourself stepping into doors you didn't even know existed. So follow the whisper. Trust the nudge. Pay attention to the still, small voice that keeps calling you. It's not just an idea or a feeling, it's divine guidance. It's God reminding you that He's got a plan and He's walking with you every step of the way. All you have to do is listen and take the next step. Rejection is not the end of the story, it's a turn in the journey. Think about the times you wanted something so badly you could taste it. You prayed, you worked, you waited, and then the door slammed shut. The no felt heavy, unfair, maybe even unbearable. But what if I told you that rejection wasn't a punishment? What if it was protection? What if it was redirection? We often see rejection as failure, as something broken within us. But rejection is rarely about what you're losing, it's about where you're being guided. Every closed door is God saying, not here, not this. I have something better for you. He's not trying to break your heart, he's trying to position it. Oh, I know it's hard. When you're in the middle of it, when the disappointment is fresh, it's hard to see beyond the pain. You start to question everything you're worth, your dreams, even God's plan. But let me remind you, God doesn't take something from you without giving you something greater in return. It may not come in the way you expected, but it will come. Rejection is God's way of moving you. Sometimes we get so comfortable, so set on our plans, that we miss what he's trying to do in our lives. So he closes the door, not to hurt you, but to wake you up, to shake you loose from what's holding you back and push you toward what's waiting ahead. Trust the redirection. Trust the hand that's guiding you. Think about it. How many times have you looked back and thanked God for a no? For the job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that fell through. At the time, it felt like the worst thing in the world. But now you see that it was the best thing that could have happened. That no cleared the way for a yes that changed everything. Rejection teaches you to let go of control, to surrender. It reminds you that you're not the one steering the ship, God is. And he knows the waters better than you do. He sees the storms ahead, the dangers you can't predict, the opportunities you can't yet imagine. Every no is him steering you toward smoother waters, toward a destination that's better than the one you planned. And let's not forget, rejection builds resilience. It strengthens you. It forces you to dig deeper, to reassess, to grow. It's not meant to destroy you, it's meant to prepare you. Every setback, every closed door is equipping you for what's next. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize the rejection wasn't a roadblock, it was a detour to something greater. Sometimes the no is because you're aiming too low. You're praying for a blessing when God wants to give you a miracle. You're asking for something good when he's preparing something extraordinary. But you have to trust the process. You have to trust that his vision for your life is bigger than yours. Rejection is a reminder that your worth is not tied to what you achieve, who accepts you, or what you gain. Your worth is inherent. It's unshakable. And no amount of no's can take that away. If someone or something walks away from your life, let it go. It wasn't meant for you. If it was, it would still be here. What's meant for you will always find its way to you. So the next time you hear no, don't let it break you. Don't let it make you question your path. Instead, pause and say, thank you, God, I trust you. Because that no is setting you up for a yes that will leave you speechless. Rejection isn't the end, it's the redirection to a greater beginning. Trust it, embrace it, move with it. Faith over fear. Let me say that again, faith over fear. Fear will whisper lies to you, telling you that you're not enough, that you're too far behind, that what you're waiting for will never come. Fear wants you to shrink, to stay stuck, to believe that God has forgotten you. But faith speaks louder. Faith says, I know God has not forgotten me. I know his plans for me are good, to prosper me, to give me hope and a future. Fear is loud. It screams in your ear, filling your mind with worst-case scenarios and what-ifs. It tells you to give up before you even begin. It tells you to play it safe, to stay comfortable, to avoid the risk. But faith is steady. Faith doesn't shout, it reassures. Faith says, even if I can't see it, I trust that God is working on my behalf. Even if the road is dark, I know the light is coming. Choosing faith doesn't mean you're never afraid. Fear is natural. It happens to all of us. But faith is a choice. It's the decision to move forward despite the fear, to believe in the promise, even when you can't see the proof. Fear wants to paralyze you, but faith gives you courage to take the next step, no matter how small it might feel. Let me tell you something about fear. It thrives on the unknown. It thrives in the gaps where you don't have all the answers, all the certainty. But that's exactly where faith shines the brightest. Faith says, I don't need all the answers because I know the one who holds them. I don't need to see the whole picture because I trust the one who painted it. Fear will have you questioning your worth, doubting your dreams, second-guessing the very path you're on. It will try to convince you that the obstacles in front of you are too big, too daunting, too impossible. But faith looks at the mountain and says, move. Faith looks at the storm and says, peace, be still. Faith doesn't deny the challenge, it just knows who is greater. When fear tells you that you're alone, faith reminds you that you are never alone. God is with you in every step, every stumble, every struggle. He hasn't left you, and he never will. Faith is your anchor in the storm, your light in the darkness, your hope in the waiting. It's the quiet confidence that says, God has me and I will not be shaken. You see, fear is a liar. It wants you to believe that you're powerless, that you're forgotten, that your situation is hopeless. But faith knows the truth. Faith knows the truth. Faith knows that God is working all things for your good. It knows that what looks like a setback is often a setup, that what feels like an ending is often a beginning. Faith doesn't promise that the road will be easy, but it promises that the journey will be worth it. It reminds you that God's plans are bigger than your fears, His power greater than your fears, His power greater than your doubts, His love stronger than your insecurities. Faith says, I don't know how this will work out, but I know who's working it out. Choosing faith over fear is an act of rebellion against everything that tries to hold you back. It's saying, I refuse to let fear dictate my life. I refuse to let doubt steal my joy. I refuse to give up on the promises God has made to me. It's stepping out when everything in you wants to hold back. It's believing when everything around you says, give up. So when fear comes knocking, choose faith. When doubt tries to creep in, choose faith. When the waiting feels endless, when the journey feels hard, when the answers feel far away, choose faith. Because faith will carry you where fear never could. Faith will remind you that God is still in control, that He's still working, that His plans for you are still good. Trust that, hold on to that, and watch what happens when faith wins. Surround yourself with the right people. Oh, this is so important. You cannot step into the fullness of your purpose while tethered to people who doubt it. The people in your life matter. Their words, their energy, their belief or lack of it can either propel you forward or hold you back. That's why you have to be intentional about who you let into your circle. Not everyone is meant to go with you where God is taking you. And that's okay. Some people are in your life for a season, a moment, a lesson. But if they're not helping you grow, if they're not pushing you closer to your purpose, it's time to let them go. Holding on to the wrong people is like trying to climb a mountain with weights tied to your ankles. You can't soar while you're dragging. Here's the truth: when God places a calling on your life, it's not for everyone to understand. Some people won't get it. They'll question it, doubt it, even mock it. But don't let their lack of vision stop you from pursuing yours. God didn't give them the vision, He gave it to you. And you need people in your life who will support it, who will say, I see what you're building, and I'm with you. The right people will lift you when you're down. They'll encourage you when fear creeps in. They'll celebrate your wins without jealousy and remind you of your worth when you've forgotten. These are the people who believe in you, who believe in your calling, even when you can't see it yourself. That's your tribe, your God-sent community. And when you find them, hold on tight. But to find the right people, you have to let go of the wrong ones. I know that's hard. Sometimes it's the people closest to us who can't see our potential, who unintentionally or intentionally hold us back. It's not your job to convince them of your purpose. It's not your responsibility to shrink yourself so they feel comfortable. Let them go with love, but let them go with love. And remember this: the right people won't just tell you what you want to hear. They'll tell you what you need to hear. They'll challenge you, push you, call you higher. They won't let you settle for less than what you're capable of. They'll hold you accountable because they see the greatness in you, and they won't let you forget it. Look at the people around you. Are they speaking life into you, or are they draining it from you? Are they building you up, or are they tearing you down? Your environment matters. The voices you allow to speak into your life matter. Surround yourself with people who pour into you, not just people who take from you. You don't need a crowd, you need a core. A small group of people who truly see you, who believe in you, who are willing to walk this journey with you. People who will pray for you, stand with you, and remind you of God's promises when doubt creeps in. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. One genuine supporter is worth more than 100 fair weather friends. Let go of the fear of being alone. Sometimes God will isolate you before He elevates you. He'll remove the wrong people so He can bring in the right ones. Trust that process. Trust that when you let go of what's not for you, you make room for what is. And when you find your tribe, pour into them as they pour into you. Love them, uplift them, encourage them. Relationships are reciprocal. They're about giving as much as receiving. Your tribe is a gift, and together you'll accomplish more than you ever could alone. So be intentional, be prayerful, be discerning, surround yourself with the right people, and watch how far you'll go. Because when you're surrounded by those who believe in your calling, who see your purpose, who want to see you win, that's when you truly thrive. Keep showing up. I know it's hard. There are days when you feel like you're walking in circles, when you can't see the full picture, when the path ahead feels foggy and uncertain. But let me tell you this: keep showing up. Keep showing up even when it feels like nothing is happening. Keep showing up even when you don't have all the answers. Keep showing up even when you can't see how it will all work out. God honors persistence. And every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life He's designed for you. Showing up is an act of faith. It's saying, I don't know how this will turn out, but I trust you, God. It's stepping out, even when you feel unprepared. It's doing the work, even when the results aren't immediate. Because here's the truth, the breakthrough, the growth, the transformation, they don't always happen in an instant. Sometimes they're found in the quiet moments, in the small acts of persistence, in the decision to keep moving forward when it would be so easy to give up. There will be days when you feel like nothing is changing, when your prayers feel unanswered, when your dreams feel out of reach. But even on those days, keep showing up. Your consistency, your commitment to stay the course is what builds the foundation for what's to come. The process may be slow, but every single step you take is bringing you closer to your purpose, even if you can't see it right now. God doesn't always reveal the whole plan in one moment. He asks us to trust Him one step at a time. And each step, each act of obedience adds up. It may seem small today, but over time, it will lead you to exactly where you need to be. You might not see the destination clearly, but trust that God is guiding you and He is faithful to lead you to the place He's prepared for you. Persistence in the face of uncertainty builds character. It strengthens your faith and teaches you to rely on God, not your own understanding. It's easy to show up when everything is going according to plan, but it's the moments when the plan feels unclear, when the obstacles feel too big, when the doubt creeps in, that's where real growth happens. In those moments, showing up becomes a declaration of trust. You're saying, God, I don't understand it all, but I'm here and I believe you're working. And let me tell you, showing up is a seed that will bear fruit. It's easy to want immediate results, to see the payoff right away, but growth takes time. When you keep showing up, when you keep putting in the effort, even in the unseen moments, you're planting seeds that will eventually bloom. Every prayer you offer, every act of faith, every step of obedience, it all matters. God is working in ways you may not see now, but He's preparing you for something greater. You may feel tired. You may feel like you're giving your all and not seeing the results you expected. But let me remind you, keep showing up. You don't know how close you are to the breakthrough. You don't know how close you are to the moment when everything falls into place. Keep showing up, because in doing so, you are aligning yourself with God's perfect timing. And that timing is always right. And here's the beauty of it: when you keep showing up, you're not doing it alone. God is with you every step of the way, strengthening you, guiding you, walking beside you. You are not in this by yourself. You are a part of something bigger, and every small act of faith you make is part of His grand design for your life. So no matter what today looks like, no matter how unclear the path may seem, keep showing up. Show up for yourself. Show up for the dreams He's placed in your heart. Show up for the calling on your life. Because persistence honors God, and He will honor you. Keep showing up and watch how every step draws you closer to the life you were always meant to live. So let me leave you with this: God has a plan for you. Yes, you. Not someone else, not a future version of you, but the person you are right now, flawed, beautiful, imperfectly, perfectly perfect. Your journey isn't a mistake. Every twist, every turn, every setback, every triumph is part of the tapestry He's weaving in your life. God isn't in a hurry, and neither should you be. His plan is bigger than you can imagine, and it's unfolding exactly as it should, even when it doesn't look the way you thought it would. Trust that He is working, even when you can't see it. The road won't always be smooth. There will be days when you feel uncertain, when fear tries to creep in, when you question whether you're on the right path. But here's what I want you to remember: God doesn't waste a single moment of your life. He uses every experience, every joy, every heartbreak, every lesson to shape you into the person you are meant to become. And He is right there with you, guiding you every step of the way. His plan for you is not just for now, it's for every moment of your life and beyond. It's a lifelong journey. Now, it's important to remember that His timing is perfect. Not yours, not mine, but His. There will be times when the weight feels unbearable, when the promises feel too far off. But when the timing is right, when you've learned what you needed to learn, when you're ready, everything will fall into place. Trust that delay doesn't mean denial. It just means He's preparing you for something greater than you could ever ask or imagine. And when it comes, you will know it's exactly what you were meant to have. Keep the faith, even when it feels hard. Keep moving forward, even when you can't see the whole picture. Because, my friend, God has placed greatness within you. He has placed purpose in your heart. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You just have to keep showing up, trusting, believing. He is using you right where you are for something extraordinary. And in the end, His plan for you will be more beautiful than anything you could have dreamed up on your own. So stand tall, my friend. Walk in faith. Know that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, even in the uncertainty. You don't have to know the whole plan today. You don't have to see the final destination. You just have to take the next step in faith because God has a plan for you and it's unfolding in ways you can't even imagine. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep showing up. He's got you. And his plan for you is good.